Hi. Hi, this is the first time I've used this microphone with my Samsung Galaxy Tab, so I hope the quality's okay. I have a 5-year-old son who's playing with his 7-year-old sister upstairs, so I don't know if you're going to hear their shouts and screams. I keep asking my son to be quiet, but it's just not going to work. Anyway, hopefully they won't come into the living room while I'm recording this. So at the moment, sorry it's all backwards. I'm doing it in selfie mode. My book, 5 Light Years to the Firesnake, is completely free, but only for one more day this weekend before Christmas 2020. Also, book 2, which I don't have in print, is free as well. So if you search for my name on Amazon, which is Rayner, basically that, the other way around, you will find my first series. Book 1 and 2 are free, and book 3 and 4 are just 99 cents each. You can buy them for that price in the UK as well, whereas the free books should be available in most Amazon stores around the world. Anyway, so as I've got my setup, I thought it would be nice to read you a few of the first chapters and just tell you a little bit about this book. Okay, so I've written quite a few omnibus books from my first series because a couple of complaints I've had from a couple of reviewers are that there's just too many characters and worlds and storylines all occurring at the same time. I mean, that's my style, that's what I like to read, and I really enjoyed writing it that way, but I understand for a lot of people it's a bit difficult to follow. So there are also omnibus books available, and there's a box set with 3 omnibuses in it based on 3 different storylines from 3 different characters only from that whole series, and that's only 99 cents. That's called Space Mage's Firesnake, and there's a spy, a spiritual girl who discovers a type of metaphysical teleportation, and then the third character in that box set is YuFu. I'm presently writing a series called YuFu's Run that has no time travel or magic in it because before I wrote that series, I closed the time portals after my second series called Red Star. Anyhow, this is very character rich. There are at least 13 point of view characters in the whole of the 5 book series, but who knows, maybe you might like it. I like to read books like that, and some people don't, but some people do. So I thought I'd better be honest though and tell you that it's very character rich, and there are lots of maps as well. Chapter 1. YuFu's egg-shaped spacecraft trembled as it settled into geostationary orbit above Tushin's outermost ring. The gas giant's radio notes hummed through its cockpit speakers. He listened for frequency changes and checked the colours of swirling storms. The eye of the closest storm deepened to dark indigo. Without hesitation, he released his net and extended its line through Tushing's rings and into the storm. Vibrations from the atmosphere travelled through the line, shaking his craft even more. There was a little tug of war, but not too much turbulence, nice and smooth. A few seconds later, his sensors indicated his polycrystalline net was filled with diamonds, and YuFu reeled it through the rings, careful to avoid obstacles of ice and rock. When his catch was through, he opened his cargo bay hatch and hauled it in. He sped away to view Tushing's rings from a safe distance and celebrated with a steaming cup of green tea. "I'm done for the day, Rex. You full yet?" "Can't find a damn plug on this side. Need some diamonds. Gonna hover the perimeter and wait it out," Rex replied on YuFu's intercom. Might take Rex hours to find a spot of his own, even with his new vessel. YuFu did fine with the older model. He yawned and stretched his limbs and slumped back in his seat. "I'm getting too old for this job." How many times had he hovered outside Tushing's outermost ring, casting his net into one of its deadly storms? He whistled. 25 Nerthus years. "You're rich though, buddy," Rex said, And you'll be richer when you retire. Shushu's happy, your kids are happy, and you should be too. At least you don't get the shits anymore. That was partly true. For the first year, adrenaline had hit him every time, and he'd been terrified on every venture. His palms would sweat, and he'd constantly need to take a dump from his cabin on Tai to Tushing's outermost ring and back. We're risking our lives. I was scared. It was a terrible job. But now he was an expert. Everything depended on the intensity, speed, and pressure of the storm. Turbulence could rip a spacecraft apart or jerk it out of orbit and into Tushing's gravitational pull. "YuFu, my man, help me out, will you? I can't find a plug on this." "How many times must I tell you?" His nostrils flared. "Don't only rely on equipment. Listen to the music. Where you hear the static energy, that's the best place to park. Fish in dark purple ponds." Yeah, Rex laughed. No doubt about it, YuFu was the best diamond fisher at Tanmixan, Meleda's sole energy provider. Diamond fishing in Tushing's atmosphere was a secret Tanmixan guarded. The diamonds captured and channeled the sun's photons in their space-based solar panels. Selling them back on the black market made Meleda rich and powerful too. If Plan 8 knew about it, Meleda's supremacy and financial stability would be compromised. Diamonds would no longer be seen as a rare mineral, and other nations would catch on to harvesting precious gems from gas giants. Meleda would lose control over Plan 8 laws. As a cover, Tanmixan's diamond fishers told others they were methane rig workers on a moon, Tai. All diamond fishers offered the same story, and Tanmixan backed them with false references. If any were threatened or tortured, diamond fishers had to trigger a memory chip wiping mechanism by clicking their incisor teeth to memorized pattern. Doing this also replaced their chips with fabricated memories. "You're blessed to be a Jurgen, man. These implants are killing me in my ears. It ain't my fault your ancestors were all from the wrong side of Meleda." YuFu laughed. "You Fennecs look pretty in your purple skin, but it don't do much good to have crappy ears." "Hey, who are you to say our ears are crappy? I could cope better than you on any other planet." Rex sounded pissed. "I'm truly sorry you can't appreciate Tushing's songs, but it ain't my fault." When he became a diamond fisher, nothing seemed better than sitting in front of the god of all gas giants. With his radio on, Tushing's sounds was like 1,000 instruments droning in various pitches and frequencies. He felt safe in Tushing's song. "I'm sorry you feel like an old man before your time," Rex laughed. "It's not that. I basically miss my wife and kids. The way I remember it, you wanted to get away from them." "That was 10 Nerthus years ago. In Tushing years?" YuFu grimaced. "Just short of 3. I've done 3.5. Don't know what you're complaining about, man. Peace and quiet, away from it all." YuFu peered through his spacecraft's shell at the starry expanse. Rex would never forget his drunken complaints about his wife and children. YuFu's heart felt heavy with guilt. That was when Shushu was angry, tired, and hormonal. At least he saw them regularly by airsphere, but his kids were growing too quickly. "And that, my friend, is why I never got married," Rex added. YuFu could sympathize with any mother now. Shushu had suffered a lot from carrying, giving birth to, and raising 6 children. "What would you know? I know I like sex with a woman who wants it." YuFu shook his head. Rex would never forget. Arsehole. YuFu had felt like a helpless fool when Shushu needed him most. His kids were cute beyond belief, but raising them was hard work and drained his energy. "I don't know why I'm talking to you about this." YuFu sighed. "But the reason I miss them is because she's happy now, because they're my kids." The longer he worked away from home, the more he missed them. "God, I wish I could retire now." "Sorry to put it bluntly, bud, but you signed a 10-year contract in Tushing years. How long you still got?" "Why count everything in Tushing years? No one does that anymore." Yeah, I never got my head around the Nerthus calendar. Multiply by 3, it's close enough." YuFu drew his fingers around the rim of his cup. I've got over 1.5 Tushin years left, 5 Nurthus years. Not long. We're so rich already. We don't need more money. Sustain, man, sustain. Break Tan Mixan's contract, lose it all. That gorgeous home in the white cliffs of Ujina. High-tech education for your kids. A lot to risk. My parents would be refused entry into the best retirement village too. He sighed, looked ahead at the gas giant, raked his fingers through oily black hair, and chugged more hot green tea. Come on, man, we're lucky to be fishers. YuFu nodded. Rex was right. In his heart, he'd always known that taking this job was the right thing to do. Not only his family, but his bloodline was secure. His grandchildren and their grandchildren to come would be grateful and proud to have a noble ancestor of Maozong descent. His bloodline would always remember him as the Jurgen great-grandfather who built their family fortune on hard work and endurance. An alarm sounded, and he sprang forward, spilling his tea over his lap. Wah! It was a proximity alert. His radar showed an object closing in on his aft quarters. A jolt made YuFu's head snap back. His diamond bearer shook violently. A noise pierced his ears, the sound of metal on metal, clanking, banging, scraping. He couldn't see straight and his inertia belt dug into his rib cage. When his craft steadied, sweat covered his body, his heart pounded and his lungs heaved. He didn't have time to figure out how the object had gotten so close undetected. Rex! It's an emergency! I need help! No reply. Open! He fought his inertia belt, fingers trembling. Finally, he rushed to the door. He yanked the lever and took a deep breath. With his door now secured, he returned to harness himself into his seat. Another jolt and a piercing scrape indicated a larger craft was dragging his diamond bearer into it. Stars disappeared from his windows, replaced by grimy metal and graphite. Shaking ceased, and the noise stopped. Foreign voices argued loudly. Hissing came from outside. Oh God, that sounds like gas, he muttered. A mind-numbing bang rang out and a sequence of sharp blows followed as his craft convulsed. He couldn't think or react. His body tensed like an animal aware of its impending slaughter. Fighting to take off his inertia belt again, he grabbed a laser gun from a locker and pressed an emergency button. Instead of changing from black to red, the button blinked white, indicating a failure to transmit. He leaned over the control panels and sent an audio message to Tan Mixan's security response team on time. He'd been too slow in sending his SOS. He whispered into the dead transmitter. Pirates. Watch my next video to listen to Chapter 2 about another point of view character and main character, Adra.